Do you notice the way grief changes the light? Have you felt loss shaping you quietly? I didn't expect it to be so physical. The breath that catches when the kettle begins to sing, the sudden chill in a hallway that used to feel ordinary. I hold a mug with both hands and steam blurs the window. The blur is honest. Something in me is fogged too, but not empty. It is a field resting under winter snow, storing what it will need for spring. The day carries little sounds like pins in a dish. A bus sighs outside. The cat makes a cloth-soft chirp. Paper smells like old lemon and the drawer soap my mother kept. Grief is in the room with me, not as a scold, but as weather. It cools the skin, narrows the eyes, slows the spoon as it circles tea. I name it to keep from wrestling with a ghost. Hello, companion. Sit. I have space for you on the chair. People who study sorrow say it moves in tides, not ladders. That comforts me. It means I am not failing when the wave returns. It means growth may hide inside repetition, the way seeds hide beneath snow. We are bodies, and bodies keep score with heartbeats and muscles and lungs. So, I make space for the body to speak. Breath in 4, out 6. Shoulders down, warmth against the sternum like a little sun. I begin a practice I can do with tired hands. I write 3 columns: what I lost, what remains, what is growing because of what remains. I do not force gratitude. I allow it if it knocks. In lost, I write the laugh that startled birds, the voice that knew my shortcuts. In remains, I list a recipe card with oil spots, a sweater that still holds a quiet scent. In growing, I surprise myself with verbs: learning, tending, asking. This is not a cure. It is a way to stand in the doorway of my own life without slamming it on the past. I drink, I breathe, I let the window clear at the pace the room decides. When the glass sharpens, I can see my street again, the mailman's careful walk, a child's bicycle left leaning, the tree that still lifts its arms. I write one more sentence at the bottom of the page. Growth is not betrayal, it is how love keeps moving. So I keep going because that sentence steadies my hands. The next day I open the closet and the air is cedar and old wool. My fingers find a scarf we bought at a roadside stand where the wind smelled like peaches. I feel the nap of it against my lip and close my eyes. Grief arrives again, patient as an usher. It walks me to my seat. It does not ask me to leave. I choose one object to sit with each afternoon: a mug with a nicked rim, a postcard with a joke scribbled sideways, the hinge of a music box that complains before it sings. I set a timer for 10 minutes and give the thing my full attention: texture, smell, sound, weight. When the bell rings, I return it to its shelf as if I were tucking in a child. Small attention grows roots where panic used to live. Information softly. Many counselors suggest continuing bonds, the idea that love can stay present after loss in new forms. That does not mean I refuse the fact of death. It means I let relationship change shape the way water takes a new cup. I talk to the scarf when the evening is long. I thank the recipe card when the soup turns out right. I ask the empty chair to save me a place while I rest. On Wednesdays, I carry grief outside so it can breathe. I walk the long block where ginkgo leaves fan the sidewalk like little hands. The sky smells of rain on brick. Trucks grumble at the light. I say the names I need to say under my breath and count my steps. Growth shows up in the oddest ways. I look up. I make eye contact with the neighbor who always waters plants too much. I tell her, the daisies look brave. When I come home, I put water to boil and rinse the mug until it warms in my palm. Out the window, the tree lifts and settles. I lift and settle too. The scarf goes back on its hook. I write a date in my notebook beside three tiny boxes labeled breathe, notice, thank. I check two today and leave one empty on purpose, a space for the living to enter tomorrow. Tomorrow, I promise myself, will have its own weather and I will meet it. In the meantime, there is paperwork stacked like shy houses on the table. I light the small lamp with the cream shade and lower the room's voice. The envelopes smell faintly of glue. I sort to keep, to answer, to let go. Letting go is not erasure. It is pruning in late winter, so the sap can find a way. Debt notices sit beside sympathy cards, which is a kind of comedy I did not buy tickets for. I take them one at a time. A call to the clinic to reschedule. A letter to the bank with my new address. A message to a friend who loved him too. Can we walk Sunday? The pen travels more easily when the task belongs to love. A body that feels useful remembers its dignity, and dignity is a light grief can see by. Here's a small how-to for days like this. Pair each hard task with a sensory anchor. Citrus peel by the phone for its bright smell. A warm towel across the shoulders before the call. A square of dark chocolate afterward to mark the end. I do not scroll the news while I wait on hold. I look out the window and count the pulses of the blue light on the modem. Slow, slow, quick. The heart does this too when it is learning. Information gently offered. Healing is not forgetting. It is integrating. The story grows wider, and we can live in it without tripping over the same threshold. I add a page to my map, places that soothe, the library's wooden table, a church pew even on weekdays, the bakery at 7 a.m. when the air's warm and smells like toast. I put the map under a magnet and let it become domestic, like grocery lists and notes about the cat. Night comes with its ordinary chorus, the radiators click, the neighbor's piano, the lid of the trash can thudding closed outside. I sit on the floor and lean against the couch, spine tall as a mast, and I say the truest thing I can manage. I miss you, and I'm still here. The sentence holds both, like hands cupping water without trying to own it. Still here becomes my morning anthem, quiet but steady, and I hum it while the kettle begins to murmur. I add one new practice to the old ones, making room for joy without apology. Not the loud kind, the durable kind. I place a small vase by the sink and keep it full of something alive. Daisies, a sprig of rosemary, one branch of maple that is clearly not meant for a vase, but pleases me anyway. The kitchen smells green, a shy brightness that lifts the corners of the day. Joy does not cancel grief. They stand shoulder to shoulder like choir members sharing a hymnal. When the hymn is high, I rest. When it is low, I breathe deeper. I invite people who can sing softly, a neighbor who tells simple stories, a granddaughter who asks the right questions and does not rush the answers. We bake a pan of brownies and let them cool while we play a card game that requires more laughter than skill. The brownies crackle like paper when we cut them. I practice boundaries as part of growth, because growth needs a fence when deer are near. I write 3 sentences on a card by the phone. I'm not taking advice today. I can talk for 15 minutes. Let's schedule another time. I have to rest. When I use them, the room sighs with relief. The cat, who's a tyrant about lap rights, approves of the increased lap time. Information, soft as wool. Movement helps, not as penance, as circulation. I sweep the kitchen and call it exercise. I walk to the mailbox and back twice. I stretch in the hallway where the floorboards complain the least. The breath that hurt in the early months begins to widen like a creek in spring. I am not a new person. I am the same person with more sky. At night, I write a letter to the future on the back of an envelope. I hope you kept the vase by the sink. I hope you still count the modem lights instead of doom. If love is nearby, I hope you make room. If love is gone, I hope you make room anyway. I tucked the letter behind the recipe book so it can season there. Season is the word that returns as summer tilts toward fall. The air smells faintly of dust and apples. I carry a sweater in the crook of my arm and feel the seed of a new year in it. Grief has not left. It has learned its seat at my table. We pass plates. We do not talk over each other. When I pour tea, the cup fogs for a second and clears. I have come to trust that clearing. I gather the week's small proofs, the way gardeners gather clippings for propagation. A note to a friend that made both of us laugh. A receipt with the server's name circled because she remembered mine. A library stamp dated next month. Imagine, I am borrowing from a future. I slide these into an envelope labeled growth and place it next to another labeled loss. They lean against each other like books that share a shelf. Before sleep, I stand at the open window. Night carries the smell of wet sidewalk and the tinny song of someone's radio a block away. I say the names that make my mouth kind. I thank the day for cooperating as much as it did. I promise the past I will visit again tomorrow, but I will not move back in. The room understands. The dark becomes companionable. If you are somewhere in the first hard weeks, take one small tool with you. Pair grief with a practice you can feel. Warmth, rhythm, green smells, water in a glass, the scratch of a good pen. Use them without apology. Growth will not arrive as thunder. It will come like a seed cracking open where no one can see. And then one day you will taste basil where there used to be nothing but soil. I turn off the lamp and leave the window cracked for friendly air. The house creaks as if adjusting its shoulders. I lie down and put a hand on my heart so it has company. Loss lies down too. We are not enemies. We are roommates, learning the same address. I close my eyes and hear the small hymn we share. Still here, still growing, still loved. The night breathes with me, and that is enough.